he came down. Did you notice that? And
Yeah.
what does that tell you? Any concern there? Did that figure into your decision?
Yeah, a little bit. And, the line drive off his leg factored in, and where we were in their lineup factored in. There was a lot of factors. But,
Factor in your decision to, give him the extra day, the velocity.
Well, I think the numbers speak to the fact that both him and Nola on an extra day's rest, their numbers are a lot better. And anytime we can give those guys an extra day, we'd do it.
And the dip in velocity, was it a concern for you? Is it a concern for you? And
Well,
what do you think it was from?
I think we've seen it in most of his starts since he's been back, and I think it's just fatigue. He's not really built that back up that much, and he's only been in the seventh inning once since he's been back. So
Playing the Astros, when you were part of the Yankees in 17, there was that, I don't think we know. Is there any extra motivation there? Are you taking any steps to make sure you don't get burned again, things like that?
Well, it's not just the Astros. I think we're constantly looking at our pitchers, our infielders, our catchers as to are they ever giving something away, whether it's pitches, whether it's location, that type of thing. And for me personally, there's no extra motivation just because of that to beat the Astros. I just want to win a World Series.
So no bitterness that they may have
No,
bend the rules?
no.
Okay, Todd on the left.
Aaron got hit pretty hard in that last start in San Diego. I think it was like in his career highest average exit velocity against him. I was just wondering if, and Aaron and a couple other people said they really were on his fastball. They were really on his fastball. Any chance he was tipping? Did you uncover anything there with that?
We didn't, and we looked at it because we were kind of thinking anytime that type of thing happens, we're always looking at it. We're always checking and make sure that we got everything covered. And I think there was some bad execution in there, as well as they were hunting fastballs. So, but we're always looking at that.
Back to Matt. And
They haven't carried a lefty reliever. They actually had the fewest, I think, batters faced by a lefty reliever out of this season, but they've held lefties, their bullpen has, to a really low number. Do you think there are matchup advantages for you there, or how do you evaluate your left on guys on against their righties?
Yeah, they've got some even split guys. They've got some reverse split guys coming out of their bullpen. So having a lefty, I don't think it really concerns them too much. But I still like our matchups. I like our hitters, and I think our lefties are swinging the bat pretty good. And so, I'll take my chances.
okay, Paul on the left.
Back to Wheeler for a minute. Just his velocity in the first couple innings, though, has been up quite a bit. Is there obviously you can't control adrenaline, but is there any concern to maybe emptying the tank a little bit in these playoff starts? Too early?
No, I think that's the way to pitch anyway. Is to go out and you're going to see the top of the lineup in the first two innings, and you better get those guys out, or we're going to be in a hole. So you better go get it.
And then with Zach Eflin, obviously a lot has been made about Reese and Nola being around a lot, but Zach, we didn't even know if he was going to be ready for the start of the season. Then he gets hurt again in the middle of the season. He was going to be for the playoffs. His just kind of perseverance and work ethic, is that kind of exemplary of the whole team?
It really is, and I'm really proud of him because that knee thing was an issue, and it's been an issue for a while, and he battled through it, and he kept fighting until he couldn't fight anymore, and then we got it fixed, and then his ability to come back from that and how hard he worked to be able to get back to pitch again and pitch out of our bullpen and pitch effectively out of our bullpen. So hats off to him and the training staff for all they did.
Okay, I'm going to Rob right in the middle, then Scott.
Rob, much is made, of course, of Houston being here before. 5 of them were here in 17, I think, and a couple of years back. But you guys, even though 2 of you have been in the World Series player-wise, you guys have quite a number of veterans that have been leaders elsewhere and here. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, we don't have many guys that have played in the World Series, but we didn't have many guys that had played in the playoffs to begin with. So, and the leadership that's in here, Schwarber's been there before. He talks a lot to the club about being in this situation. I think Harp talks a lot to the club about being in this situation. Talking through it's good, but you have to go out there and you have to perform. You have to live it. And we've done our guys have done a really good job of it so far.
Okay, Scott, right in the middle.
I know you do a ton of advance work for these series, but it's probably pretty unusual that the two World Series teams played each other the last series of the season. Can that help the fact that you guys saw Verlander and McCullers and Valdez the last series, and just to have had a look at them? I know the circumstances of that series were different, but just to have seen them as recently as you have.
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, because you see their pitches, their shapes, that type of thing. A little different adrenaline rush for them in that series. Obviously, this will be different being in the World Series. But I think for our hitters, it does help quite a bit.
Okay, Jimmy over here on the right.
I was just wondering, as a longtime baseball man, your impressions of Justin Verlander? He's 39 and he's doing it so well. Do you marvel at him a little bit? And,
I do.
Yeah.
Anybody that can do that for that long speaks to his work ethic, speaks to his competitive nature. Obviously, he's always had great stuff. And he's, in 2010, I was one of the coaches in the All-Star game out in Anaheim. And Justin was on that club, and I was coaching third. And I was impressed because he spent like 2 innings when we were on defense, asking me questions about being a third base coach and what you think about and what you're going through and things like that. So he's a baseball guy, and I appreciate that. But I'm always amazed at guys that can do what he's done for that long.
And he's very obviously a tough get in Game 1, and
Yeah.
Game 1 has been such a big part of your success this month. And how do you approach it? Knowing that you're going against a future Hall of Famer.
Well, I think you approach it like any other guy, You can't think of him as like a future Hall of Famer. I think he's another pitcher, and you figure out what he's doing and how he's going to attack you, and then you go to work on him.
Okay, 2 in the back. Ruben.
I know you subscribe to if it's not broke, don't fix it. Have you thought about changing the lineup a little bit based on how hot Harper's been, protecting him, and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I have a little bit, just because there's no left-hander in the bullpen.
Okay, Tom, way back.
Rob, having been through this before, how important have the last couple of days been to take care of the distractions, tickets, and all that kind of stuff to make sure that when you get on that plane for Houston, it's all baseball?
Me personally, I have a wife that knows how to say no, and she's very organized, so I have a lot of help. Now, I don't know about the other guys, but my wife's pretty good at it.
Okay, Todd on the left.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know you've been asked this a million times, but I was just curious. But going back to spring training before all the lockout stuff was finished, what were your thoughts on expanded playoffs and the DH? Because both obviously ended up being life changers for you guys.
Well, I kind of like the DH because of the fact that I've been on clubs where we've lost pitchers due to, especially when I was with the Yankees, because we've played interleague games, and Chin-Ming Wong is an example that I can come up with. He had to run the bases, and he tore a sheath in his foot and was never really the same again. So I kind of like the DH. It eliminates some injury issues. As far as the expanded playoffs, to be honest, I really liked it because I think the more teams that are coming into September and they've got a chance to get in the playoffs, more people come out and there's more interest in the game in more cities. So I thought it was great.
And I don't know if you heard this, but apparently, like, Phillies fans are buying, like, set at a merchandise sales record 24 hours after you guys clinch. I'm just kind of. Do you have any thoughts on the response you're getting on getting
I
to
think
this point?
it just shows you that we got great fans, passionate fans, and they've fallen back in love with this ball club, and I love that.
You could probably get a good dollar for that.
Yeah, good.
Okay, Dan, right there in front.
You also signed a lot of autographs the other day, didn't you?
I did.
How many did you sign?
Quite a few. I don't know.
You signed Dancing on Our Own on every single one?
No.
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 No. Some of them.
Some of them.
Okay. You mentioned, some of the players gravitate toward Kyle. What is it about him you think? Is he volunteering, or the player just sees a veteran? I mean, what is it about him that makes everyone kind of gravitate toward him in the clubhouse?
I think just his personality. I mean, he's very outgoing and he's very honest with people. He jokes around about himself a lot, which makes people feel comfortable to approach him. And, you know, even, and I've said this all along, he helps the veterans, he helps the kids. And he goes through slumps too, or periods of time when he's not swinging the bat particularly well. And even though he's trying to fix his own stuff, he's still trying to help other people. And that's a great sign of a great teammate.
Anything else for Thomas? Okay, Bill on the right.
After Nolan Wheeler, I guess Suarez game 3, and then TBD game 4. Or
Don't know yet after game 2. We'll see how games 1 and 2 go.
Is there any scenario where you could see yourself going with a 3-man rotation?
No, it'll be 4.
Could you just talk? You know, you've obviously had the opportunity to start with Wheeler and Nola in a couple series. What kind of advantage do you think that's given you, especially with the innings that they've, you know, been able to put up?
Yeah, they're arguably our 2 best pitchers, and it's just happened to work out that we've been able to have some time off or have enough time between their starts that they can go 1 and 2 in each series. So it's worked out, and it's for us, it's a huge advantage because now in a 7-game series, you get them twice, both of them twice. So for if potential 7 games, you'd have your 2 best guys. So it's a big advantage.
Okay, Destiny in the back.
Rob, over the last couple days, did you take, you know, a quick moment to really recognize that this is all happening, or is there too much to do to really do that?
Yeah, I think that'll all come at the end. You know, there's just so much to do right now. You know, you got to plan workouts, you got to plan travel, you got to plan rosters, you got to plan, you know, have all the stuff that comes in game scenarios that are going to come. I'm running those all through my head, and we're talking through it. So I think once this is all over, I'll kind of reflect and figure out what just happened.
Okay, Todd on the left.
Was Nolan played all in game 5 to pitch?
No.
He was not.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Just wanted.
In the back, Jamie on the left.
Topper, have you, I know you said you've got to take time to have this all reflect upon you, but have you heard, a lot of the players are giving you a ton of credit here. And they've talked a lot about how you brought fun and back to this clubhouse and how you really kind of have allowed them to decompress and not feel the pressure of the moment. What does that mean to you to know that you have these players basically not only in your corner, but really lauding praise on you all the time?
Well, it feels great, but I mean, there's so many people to thank, or so many people that have done great work. I mean, the entire coaching staff. I can't say enough about them. The training staff, our strength and conditioning department. I mean, everybody has bought in, and everybody is pulling in the same direction. And the people that we've got in the clubhouse, the players I'm talking about, how they've come together and meshed and are just, as I said, pulling in the same direction and supporting each other. It's really been a fantastic experience.
Anything else for Toms? Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Toms.